brief introduction to the case study, followed by Professor Roshit Davutu, after which we will invite Mr. Sharma to give a talk on the case study. I would like to thank again Jagaran Prakashan Limited for giving us unlimited access to their internal information, as well as to the Gupta family and Mr. Sharma for his effort in making this happen. Then the Gupta family and who are the promoters of the Jagaran group and Mr. S.M. Sharma, they actually spent a number of days with us. I mean, in terms of from the morning till night, members of the family and Mr. Sharma had actually sat down with us, and we had discussed a lot of issues and a lot of different angles. And this is a unique media case in the sense that in India you won't find a case study which goes this deeply into the media, because media companies per se are not very transparent. So I would like to again thank the Jagaran group for making this case study happen actually. As we mentioned initially, that this case study is one of the many efforts of IMI Kolkata to engage with the industry real time and bring in insights into the classroom, as well as learn from developing this kind of studies actually. And of course, one of our interests is to expose our students and make them better understand the media world, because the media world is something of an enigma to many people actually. How does it function? So one remark that sort of set fire to our imagination is that a kind of quotation was made that whenever there is more news in the paper, probably the people who are bringing out the paper, they would like to see that there is a balance between the news and news content and the advertisements content actually. So that balance people would like to see. So from that angle we have created this case study purely from a business point of view actually, that how does a media firm like Jagaran or Jagaran Prakashan Limited work. So why this particular group actually? So it is of course one of India's oldest surviving groups in the media industry, very high growth rate. In terms of readership, it enjoys the highest readership in India and probably in the world also. And one more thing that attracted us to this company was that this is a public listed company actually. So a lot of information are publicly available, unlike many other media houses which are closely held actually. So that gave us a lot of access to the data and information publicly actually. And also the efforts of the group and Mr. Sharma to make this happen. So we were exposed to a lot of internal documents were shared with us. So we had that access to really make this case into something very different and very useful, which is not seen till this day in the media world in India. So business case studies serve many purposes. The way we teach our students in business school is a kind of a principle known as guided discovery. So they have to experience the learning. So it is like riding a bicycle. So it is very difficult to teach on the blackboard that how do you ride a bicycle or how do you swim, unless you experience that process. So we try to bring this kind of insights into the classroom. And of course we could have depended on a lot of other case repositories. For example, Harvard and others have a large number of cases, but the Indian content is lacking, and it is very different conveying a case to a student and the case being experienced or the classroom being turned into experiential ground for learning by some of the professors who have actually developed the case themselves. So the learning, in terms of learning, the impact is very different. So that was our main focus of developing case studies ourselves, because first of all, Indian cases are few in number, and of course we would like to develop these case studies ourselves so that we can share some of the insights which would not be possible for us to do if we are using outside cases. So in the future, the role of media in business or the role of communication in business has still been neglected actually. So you will see a lot of finance courses, a lot of marketing courses, a lot of HR courses, but probably very few communication courses, and still fewer courses which would probably focus on the media. So we see that as the business is evolving, business managers now more and more need to understand and manage the media. And it is with an effort to that end that we now foresee that in the future the role of media and the role of communication in business schools would be growing. So it is a small effort on our part to add to that discussion, to add to that knowledge base, and to look at the future and to make things happen. So that was some of the reasons that I shared with you, and we are really again thankful because we got so much support from the Jagaran group as such, without which it would not have been possible to develop the case study, and some of the information you will find that is shared in the case is very difficult to get it publicly or basically otherwise, because no other media company would probably like to share them. With that, I would like to invite my co-author, Dr. Boroshev Dasgupta. He would be talking about the media industry in general and about its development in India. Professor Dasgupta.
Thank you, Dr. Nath. It was really a pleasure working on this particular project, and we have to thank especially Mr. Sharma and also the Jagaran group, the Gupta family, who had given us the hospitality, and they opened up everything, the organization itself for us to ask all sorts of questions which we usually do. For me, but particularly, this has been a unique experience because I have been with the print media for over decades. I started with the Statesman in Calcutta. For the first 10 years, I was with the Statesman, and then another 5 years with the Times of India, and then was the resident editor here of the Financial Express, which is again a big house. Because I have had the opportunity of, before of course coming to the academics, the media academics, but I had the opportunity, personally I had an opportunity of looking into Jagaran from a different perspective altogether, not just the editorial area which I worked in. I mean, this gave me an opportunity to understand the media in totality, because within the house, when I was working in with the print media, I never looked into the business side of it, and that is, as Dr. Nath said, that's something which is not always very clear to people who work in the media itself. But this was one unique opportunity to look into the business of media itself, and we had the opportunity of looking into all the aspects, the production, the editorial, then the marketing strategies, then the finances, and I mean, as it was a publicly limited company, I mean, they gave us even the balance sheet, which is very sensitive, information which was made available to us, which uniquely made it possible for us to make a total holistic study of what the media industry is. I mean, talking about Jagaran group itself, I mean, we in all the other, the vernacular media which we talk, they talk in the circulation in terms of lakhs. Times of India's few lakhs, whereas Jagaran group with its 200 editions, I mean, you have to understand, I mean, we talk about 10, 20 editions, and Jagaran has 200 editions, and a readership of over 2 crores. I mean, they talk in crores, not in lakhs. So that's the reach of this particular giant of an organization, and how we saw how it worked, I mean, when we went into the production side, we found, it had, for example, the amount of newsprint they used, 10,000 tons a month. 200 tons of ink that is required for print, and over 2 lakh of these plates which is required for the printing. I mean, this is huge, and and with not 20 to 200 centers with 31 printing, units all over the country, mostly in UP and Madhya Pradesh. What I want to add to this huge giant of a thing, which I said that we had an opportunity of studying in its entirety, not just the editorial, how to write in a newspaper, but the other side as well. What I found was so unique about this organization, which represented it's against the global trends with all the the internet media, the online media coming. There is a big fall in in print media all over the world. If we look into the statistics, there has been 10% to 15% of less readership of the print media going into online media. But surprisingly, this has been different in India, and the print media has been growing, led by Jagaran group itself. How they did it, that was also a mystery, something which we saw in Jagaran itself. How it led the the print growth, and we were surprised by the confidence of the group itself, saying that they have no threat at all by any other media for the next 25 years. That's something great, And apart from that, what we saw was the the way they took the threat of, say, television, which was replacing earlier. They said that they used the television threat into a positive element, which maybe Mr. Sharma will explain, because he was particularly instrumental in making, he gave us the example of how Star TV, when it came first, it changed into, say, the Hindi, into the Hindi mode. And why they did it, they said that they said that we are entering into the bottom of the pyramid. They promoted themselves, Jagaran at that point of time promoted itself, saying that we are already in the bottom of the pyramid. We serve the Hindi heartland. The advertisers moved into the Jagaran group. These are strategies which people wouldn't like to talk about. And we got the access into all these strategies and saw this particular thing in action. And an organization where the print is doing badly worldwide, we saw this particular organization thriving. And they said, as I said, and they said that it is, for the next 25 years, they are strong enough. I mean, it's very profitable. Dr. Sharma.
Thank you very much, Professor Karthik. I would now like to invite Mr. S.M. Sharma to talk about the growth of Dainik Jagaran. In fact, the story of the growth of Dainik Jagaran is also the story of Mr. Sharma's life, because he grew up with Dainik Jagaran. And right from the inception, with Mr. Puranchand Gupta, who was a freedom fighter, when we started Dainik Jagaran, he had the opportunity to work with Mr. Puranchand Gupta also. So it would be a mixture of his life story and also the story of the growth of Dainik Jagaran. I would like to invite Mr. Sharma to share some of these insights.
Dr. Indra, my friend Gautam ji, Agarwal ji, Mr. Mohanty is gone, and my friend Dr. Mukherjee, and all doctors. When I talk of doctors, I think myself to be some kind of a patient. And the way things are being explained, that we have exposed, I believe only ladies exposed. Now I think we have also exposed. And we should not have done it. I am getting that feeling that something we have said, we should not have said. It is not so. We are in the business of exposing. We are in the business of news. We are in the business of telling people what the truth is. There is something called fact and something called truth. Fact is which suits me. Truth is universal. Truth never gets repeated. It may get tired. It may get waiting for some time to succeed, but ultimately it succeeds. This is a story where I truthfully tell you what I have heard from my father and Mr. Puranchand Gupta. I was a kid of 4 or 5 years in the year 1951, 52, or 51, 50. We used to talk. My father had come from Pakistan. He was coming to Kolkata for places. I was telling Mr. Agarwal yesterday, our train got stopped because the engine got burst there. I used to ask my father, of all places, why Kanpur? He said, my son, a guy was going to Park Street, I had seen a place, I was going to start an office in Kolkata. Not to be. We were in Kanpur, but again now we are today in Kolkata. So he and Mr. Punachand Gupta had come from Jhansi, a small place, Kalpi, to start a business of newspaper. Before that, he was a missionary. If I see the success of Jagaran, I break it in 4 parts. Pre-independence, Punachand Gupta was a missionary, not a businessman. He was doing it because he was seriously wanting it to be done as a mission. He could survive, he went to jail. He will go to jail again in 1975 in emergency, but first jail he did under the British. Second time Indira Gandhi put him in jail, that is besides the point, I will talk that also. That was the major reason why we grew thereafter very fast pace. So the first time when he came to Kanpur, he met my father and my father met him. Both of them were reasonably unemployed. My father had come from Pakistan, he was a HR accountant looking for work. Punachand had come to Kanpur after deciding Lucknow is too expensive and too much of competition there. He chose Kanpur. So they chose each other. And we were kids. I have sold paper as a hawker, as I told you. Keeping papers on my left hand. I have no shame to admit that. Yes, I did that. And so did Mr. Mr. Devendra Mohan and others. We were kids. It was a playtime for us. We used to earn money on the sly. Comes independence, and Punachand Gupta and my father, both put together, evolved that now what they were doing, what was being done was a mission. Now mission cannot run for nothing, except Ramkishan mission, nothing else runs as a mission. So they wanted to convert that into a business. So the story is how a passion, a mission gets converted into a business. Now that is the story of Jagaran. It started small as a proprietary concern, made into a partnership firm, and frugal, very, very frugal. Living in rented place, not buying a car, going on a bicycle, using a mobile, trying to reinvest, replow entire income, money earned into business. And thankfully, Mr. Monty is not here, our board member of income tax, not paying the taxes also to the extent we should have paid. Since he's gone, I can say that. So we were trying to save money on everything. And we were young, we were growing up. Then, in the year 1965, 66, I don't remember the exact year, maybe 70, we were happy, small business, well set, and comes a threat in the form of Aaj, established newspaper from Banaras, coming to Kanpur. That was, kind of a person not having monopoly of kind and finding a threat coming. So once this threat came, everybody was given a shock. And Aaj was very successful in Banaras, very strong group. Gyanodaya Prakashan Mandal was of more than 100 years of standing. And we were, as compared to that, nobody's. So my father and my Punachand Gupta, they were alive, both of them, and they decided we will have the first strategy I could see. Both of them laughed and said, we will kill Aaj. We will go to Gorakhpur. In his footprint area, he is coming out to us, we are here. He has come to Lion's Den. He has walked into trap. We will kill him on north. And Jagaran started his first foray into Gorakhpur. One of the sons, luckily we are many in Jagaran family, we are a large family. One of the sons went there and it was established a newspaper publication from Gorakhpur. Aaj's downfall and Jagaran growth start from that. Thereafter we never stopped. We had in Lucknow, in Agra, this model was we were controlling the newspaper from Kanpur. And they decided to have a newspaper in a particular center. What we did, we started getting local features included from that. The 4-page theory I explained to both of you. The 4 pages of local coverage was increased. And subsequently we decided to shift our old machine to that center and start publishing those 4 pages there. The rest of the pages were made a day earlier. News was covered like that. That's how we grew from to 31 centers. And I take offense, sir, not only Delhi, UP and NP. We are in Bihar in a big way. We are in Punjab in a big way. We are into Rajasthan in a small way. And even Srinagar and in Bengal too. Now Siliguri is a center where we publish. So we include Bengal in it. So we are present in Odisha also. We go from the places where we publish in Asansol, in Durgapur. So these places we cover. The point is that now, coming to the era of pre-emergency, we were happy, we were established, saving money, and a partnership firm running as a partnership firm. No corporate governance, all hidden, nothing to be shared, nothing to be told. See, that was the business. Comes emergency, Mr. Narendra Mohan, editorially, you can understand how the editorial comes, he leaves the editorial blank. And he does what? He sends the entire copy to the district magistrate. He says this all is censored. And he leaves it blank. And Indira Gandhi takes offense, why have you kept it blank? Because we had no time to write again. They were put behind bars, the father and 2 sons. And there comes the story of resilience. Immediately overnight we converted into a company. I was the culprit. I got it done. My signatures are there on the memorandum articles decision. From a firm to a company, the business assets were owned by the firm. The company was created to do the business of publishing newspaper. If they acquire the business, they get only the shell. That was the first mischief. And then we went in 25 years like that. In 2000, when the FDI came, the third reign began. And that is where the government policy was changed and independent, the famous independent group of Ireland, England, Australia, New Zealand, they came with us. They bought our equity and that gave us the confidence we were right. And then comes the IPO and then comes the story of what we have done. So we have been transparent per force after 1975. We were thoroughly examined. We were facing CBI, we were facing IB, even my house was raided, all of us were raided. So that gave us, we could have either finished or perished or survived. We chose to survive. That's why I am here. I thank you all of you. These professors I don't teach. And I am a case study, so I am a body and everybody has opened it. It's an antemortem, hopefully not a postmortem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma, for your enlightening speech.
It can be question answer, I would prefer. If there are any questions, I would be welcoming it and I will answer, faithfully, honestly.
So now open the floor for questions and answers if you have any, because this is a rare opportunity for us to get some more insights. Though he has exposed topics to us, but
no more insights, only if you have any doubts in your mind. We had some strategies, as the director said, I can narrate that in more in detail. See, what was happening was we used to create simulated conditions. None of us won MBA, thankfully so. So we had a lot of self-created, our own management technology, and I was heading that faculty of non-management. I was considered to be the most intelligent person, and I still believe I am, but you people will not. So we used to say, look, what we should do. So one of us used to role play. I am the advisor, you come and explain. And we used to say, why should we publish in your paper? Why not in Times of India? Then the person will say, look, sir, you are publishing Times of India about Massey Ferguson. No agriculturist knows English. And the person says, yeah, you are right, you are right. I read English paper, that's why I give. So all these things, they were taught by example. They were simple guys, and we usually kept failures, BCom fail, BA fail, उनको कोई और नौकरी नहीं देगा, बोला तुमको यही काम करना है, and they were all penalized and incentivized. जो पैसा लाते थे, उसके हिसाब से उनको बोनस मिलता था. हमारा जो अजीब मॉडल है, जिसको हम अभी अनऑफिशियली कह रहे हैं, जो हमारा अखबार बेचता था सवेरे, वो जरा रफ टाइप का, थोड़ा जैसा आपका बंगाल में होता है पॉलिटिशियन, अभी डिफाइन नहीं करेंगे, तो स्ट्रॉन्ग टाइप का. वो हमारा अखबार बेचता है तो कोई अखबार और बिकने वाला नहीं है. उसका बंडल नहीं आएगा, बंडल आएगा तो मिलेगा नहीं, मिलेगा तो पहुंचेगा नहीं, पहुंचेगा तो कोई पढ़ेगा नहीं. वो तो दिन में अखबार बेचने के बाद 10 बजे टाई वाई पहन के, टाई वैसा नहीं, अच्छी वाली टाई में था, पहन के वो तो बन जाता है पत्रकार. अभी वो एसडीएम के ऑफिस जाता है, भाई जागरण से आया हूँ. उसका तुम जागरण से आया? बोले जी मैं जागरण. He has a phone. He says, या कोई आपको खबर छापनी हो, कोई बताना हो तो बताइए. तो दिन में वो पत्रकार बन जाता है, शाम को स्टोरी देता. वो स्टोरी आज भी हम लोग डिजिटल रूप में छाप रहे हैं, क्योंकि अखबार की लड़ाई अभी कागज की लड़ाई है. द एक्सपेंसिव पार्ट इज द न्यूज प्रिंट. डिजिटल मेमोरी होस्टिंग न्यूज नो प्रॉब्लम. मेनी a times our readers from America online, we get maximum hits because people have nostalgia. They want to read Hindi.
मैं भी जब कभी पहली बार विदेश गया तो मुझे कुछ को गाली देने का, हिंदी में बात करने का मन करता था। तो हिंदी का स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ के माता पिता भी हिंदी अखबार पढ़ते हैं, तो उधर वहाँ से आता है, बोलता है वो एक्सीडेंट हो गया था, नाली के पास गिर गया था घोड़े वाला, उसका क्या हुआ? तो फादर बोल रहा है कहाँ गिर गया, किसका गिर गया? बोला वो पीछे पार्क के पास। लड़का पूछ रहा है मैं तो बोल रहा है ऐसा तो नहीं हमने पढ़ा। कहाँ तुमने पढ़ा? कौन बताता है तुमको? बोले जागरण में है ना। वो जागरण की साइट पे वो न्यूज़ भी होती है जो प्रिंट में नहीं होती है। वो मेरे पिताजी को कुछ लगता नहीं उसमें, उसने चोरी किया, उसको एडिट कर लेते हैं, कोई लैंग्वेज खराब नहीं हो, बिकॉज रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हमारी है। बट द न्यूज़ इज देयर, वी पिक एंड चूज। नाउ दिस इज नॉट देयर इन योर स्टडी। Obviously, we will not tell you all the secrets. But the reason is, digitally you can have all possible stories, pictures, why not? They are sitting there. Interested person read. हमारा जो site है वो ऐसा है सर, India you choose your state, come to your district. Again, this is not in your study. Now this is something we are not sharing officially, but now it is common, people know it. You can choose your gully. You can say this particular locality any news? Yes, it is there. In newspaper we don't do that. But our problem is, हम लोग कहते हैं newspaper. Actually, Times of India has already said that. So I am only copying what they said. They said we sell advertisements in the form of packing of news. We pack advertisements. We call it newspaper. It's an advertisement paper. It's a fact. Ultimate revenue comes from not newspaper sale. Nobody likes to pay. We will pay any amount for a cup of tea. But for a newspaper, ये अखबार महंगा है, ये नहीं लूँगा. I don't know why. In India, people just don't want to pay for the newspaper. So be it. So we cover from advertisement. And the name of the game is to have more and more and more of readers. So we'll have readers. We'll give them a newspaper for 2 rupees. Let them read it. And we will give them 80%, 60%, 40% advertisements. And when we started from black and white to color, our income increased 3 times. Because the same advertisement in black and white was getting us this much money. This maybe is in your study. Star thing also, we did that because Star, Rupar Madlak showed us the way. Having started Happy Diwali, Happy Durga Puja, all kind of Star English, having failed, and then switch over from Star English to Star Hindi was, something great. We used to say, look, even Rupert Murdoch, the greatest media Mughal, knows what you don't know. And the best part was, slowly, steadily, India was changing. The advertisement media companies, the advertisement companies, they also were understanding that Hindi heartland, the cow belt, from Siliguri to Srinagar was important. And that is where the real money was, the growth was happening. Like we talk of Africa now. And why we are not threatened is, even today, the potential of growth still sits in this region because the average literacy rate is as low as 65%. So 35% have to learn to read, then they have to learn to be digitally aware, then they have to stop reading newspaper, then they have to go on net. All these things will take not 20, 25 years, it will take about 50, 60, 80 years. So in my lifetime, I am secure. In your lifetime, you may not be 80 years, hence down the line, maybe it's a difficult time. So the thinker should worry, not me. Any more questions? Only one question, nobody asked any question, I only answered. So he says that we regularly have 40-minute periods. I think we have had our periods over. Professor.
No, anything about this Anand Bajar and the Kolkata newspaper?
Unfortunately, generally, nobody should take offense. Business and newspaper are not friends. Running all papers, not only A, B, C, I will not name any, including my friend's paper where you have worked, who was supposed to be here, I can name him. They believe in very snooty, very snobby manner that we have to, journalistically correct. Fine. They can go on TV shows, they can do a lot of good English speaking and people are impressed how straightforward, good people they are. But end of the day, every reader wants to know a newspaper which he can give 20-25 minutes in the morning. He comes, headlines, news, insight, share market, editorial, what is this? Letters to editor, yes. And he keeps it there. There is hardly any time left for serious reading. Those papers are not changing. Be it Hindu, which I read, be it Statesman, which I read, because for my satisfaction. But they are bad business models. They will never succeed. I'm sorry to say, the way they are working, they are doomed. And they should accept that fact. The sooner they learn it, the better. They have to switch over to the models of, say for example, if I were Statesman, if I have to, somebody ask me, if I were Statesman, what I would do? First thing I'll do is I'll find out all public schools where English department heads will be told to ask all students to go through 4-day-old Statesman to improve their English. They can send them a postal copy, they can have a site where people will pay for it and read their newspaper. That they will never do. Hindu also can do it. Hindu is also very good editorial. But they can get it. Money model, monetization can be happening from schools in Kanpur also. This paper never reaches there. If it reaches there, it reaches 2 days late. So I can subscribe, I can read it on the digital site and I can pay for it. That they will not do. Now those persons have digital readership, they have a class by themselves. They can promote certain products like pens, like stationery, like good food, like nutritious food, like fast food. Those are target market for that. They have to think of products which can sell via the newspaper. Like we Jagaran started matrimonials. Jagaran gives a lot of emphasis on classified ads. We have no threat from TV. TV will never ever have an advertisement of a dry cleaning shop. It is just out of question. So that we will continue to have. We have threat from our advertising sites, which have come just that local sites which are coming. They are a threat, but not the big papers. The big papers in Kolkata, including Bengali papers, should stop thinking literary pieces of work and become more business oriented. Anyway, it's for them, and we are planning to come to Kolkata, so we will show them.
It's a Bengali paper? No, Hindi.
I didn't say anything. I said we are planning to come. We have already been allotted some land. So hopefully,
And any observation on times
once
of
you have a the printing press doesn't know Bengali. It takes digital image. We have an Urdu paper also. You have not mentioned.
Yes,
You have mentioned. That paper is doing wonderfully well, sir. That's a master stroke. Jagaran, a smaller paper, no good a paper, taking over midday. Now, I take as a feather in the cap which I don't wear. Another, Nai Dunia, Madhya Pradesh, any day 10 times better editorially than Jagaran. Bad business, again taken over by Jagaran. You see, they are all, both of them are doing profitably now. When we took midday, we were taking Inqilab, the Urdu paper, which wherever we published Jainik Jagaran, we publish Inqilab. Bad thing is we don't know what is printed in that. So we can go to jail anytime now. Whatever is being printed, somebody has to read what is written in that. So we have hired people and say they are responsible for what is written in this. But that paper is doing very well in Patna, it's doing very well in Banaras, it's doing very well in Aligarh, it's doing very well in Agra, and that is a Manna's gold. None of my board members ever thought that when we are buying midday, we will have income generated from Bihar. So I never told them also. I said we will buy the entire group. We will have rights to publish all papers and publication. This was consumer surplus, the surprise package. So this is a bad habit we have. We can see an opportunity. We are seeing an opportunity in Bengal, a big way. Thankful to money schemes and this, that, whatnot. People here want a leadership of a different kind. Here, as some friend was telling me, Bengal people are more oriented towards basic science, basic law, basic medicine, not much about business. And it has to grow only when business grows there. And that business is not money, chip business or, I will not name anybody, why should I? So that's it, sir.
I have a
Please, doctor, you are.
It's generally been observed that newspapers here focus on politics, but the development issues are always not reported on. The good things that
So, doctor, the point is, as you rightly say, and I can share the thought, it is not copyrighted.
What is the...
No, the reason is, we have 2 days in a week we have the local newspaper edited by the school college people. You must have read that, we have a session for that. Now there we take care of it, and we have to understand the target audience. The students write, the principals vet, and the teachers, school teachers, they actually perform on the ground. Here the difficulty is they will cover it as news item. Like Midday Bombay is doing wonderfully well. This thought, the idea which we had in UP, we were trying for dog many years, but we were not successful. Midday has done wonderfully well. Like awareness for women child, for anti-rape laws, all these things, Midday has done wonderfully well because people are more aware. Like reuse, reduce, recycle, these concepts, educated persons are easier to understand. Bengalis I find very, very sensitive, very, very sensible people. Unfortunately, the press here is very, very, I should not use that word, but they are very bourgeois. I mean, it's a Marxist term, but they are very bourgeois. They will not be concerned with what people is concerned. They have their own mindset. So, no more questions. Thank you.
I have a question.
Please.
I recollect from whatever you said right now, you have about 100 editions. So, and most of the newspapers right now, like even Times of India, they have about 25 or 36 editions.
Yeah.
So how do you streamline your process? How do you?
I think he can explain you better because he was utterly shocked when he heard that.
Yeah.
You see, people don't, there's a misnomer. Editions are locations of printing, we call it printing center. And from one center, we cover a geographical area. Now, geographical area, we work out like what? I don't do it, I have just strategized it and people do it now for us. They see which is 4 hour away, which is 3 hour away, which is 2 hour away. Because the newspaper, the fast printing machines print very fast, large numbers, and on that we don't compromise. One thing which missed out was technology. In 1975 we had satellite linkage, we have good lines, we had central newspaper published, all these things are recorded here somewhere. You have written about huge satellite communications, having a satellite link with us. We are way back when even Times of India was not using it, Hindu was not using it. We could foresee that if we have to save on communication. We have to print our paper as late as possible so that it carries most of the news, if not all the news. And that was a limitation that we could not sell a newspaper. Sitting here, I can't sell very easy. We start and digitally you can take care. So certain things, can you believe same newspaper, same masthead, same portrait has different references. In the same city we have different references. And you believe in Kolkata, if I were to publish here, I will have 6 editions of same statesman, one for North Kolkata, one for South Kolkata, one for Central Kolkata, one for Behala, one for Howrah, one for Hooghly, one for 24 Kolkata. So you can do that digitally. You have print run now, 20 minutes we print 50,000 copies. Our print order is this much. Publish. Although old advertisements removed, new ones come. We charge them less. What a guy from Howrah will pay, why should he pay for what is a Salt Lake resident has nothing to do with that. If any function is happening there, so we will be target. We are very local in our approach for covering news. And those are the editions which have local reach. Like a school event or college event has happened in, say, Howrah. So that has a meaning, a relevance for that region. We will not cover it for Salt Lake. The Salt Lake thing will not be there in Howrah. Now all the cut paste is simple nowadays with computer. They have, there are codings. For this edition, only this much geography will be covered. For this region, this much geography. In Delhi, we have 8 editions for Delhi city itself. And we have all those free rags, tags, that I think you must have written. Okay. And we are ensuring ourselves by using our marketing strength to have other verticals like we are out of door, we are into events, we are into marketing, and all those avenues are going to remain whether newspaper remains or does not. We are ensuring ourselves, we are there in the space. Today, if a guy in Bombay or Calcutta wants to cover Kanpur, then he has to cover it holistically, 360 degree solution is required. So we say, okay, you want newspaper, we give you newspaper. We take advertisement for Times of India also. We barter. They collect advertisement for us. Can you beat it? We are both our partners. Because they don't have a Hindi paper in that region. We don't have an English paper. So we have no problem with it.
And Bharat Times is
Nabara time is there only in Delhi. So if anybody wants to cover Hindi in UP, they have to come to us. And if you want to cover something in English, then we don't have an English paper. We tried one that is luckily not written here. We had so many spelling mistakes, Oxford had to tell us, please stop, otherwise we have to change the dictionary every third month. We were giving new spellings to English words. So the paper's news was the action, it had so much of activity, it went away. हम लोग कानपुर में बोलते हैं चला, बोले बहुत तेज चला, वो चला गया। इतना चला, वो चलता ही गया। वो हम भी उसमें लिखते थे सर। आपकी तरह से हमको भी शौक चल रहा है कि हम भी लिखेंगे। तो लिखते तो हम थे, पढ़ नहीं पाते थे। कि हमने क्या लिखा है? Easy to write, very difficult to read. So you understand?
Having 200 editions, does it add to your sales pitch?
Yes,
to,
yes,
national
no,
advertisers?
it attracts readership. Say, for example, अब मैं आपको यहाँ की geography मालूम नहीं है
What
मुझे.
about advertisers? How do they look at 200
No,
editions?
classified was coming to that edition only. So rate was very low.
No, I mean the national advertisers.
Advertisers were very happy because you see, they were happy, they were getting it penetration where readership was more. You see, if I have to compete with who? I have to compete not only for the reader, I have to compete against my competition. My competition is not doing this. So he is giving a newspaper published in Kolkata, this is the same paper, you read here, you read there. So I say, no, this is a newspaper for Kolkata, this is a newspaper for Salt Lake, this is a newspaper for Howrah. So obviously reader said, I like this because he gets more coverage of news about his own area. So the name of the game was not only advertisement. Advertisement follows if readership. The name of the game is we will keep targeting readers. We will keep talking about editorial. But our intentions are not the readers, not the editorial. Our intention is to get the readership on which the advertisement runs. You see, if we have the numbers of readership, advertisement has to come. So that's why he said, use the word, they are overconfident. You said confident, I heard as overconfident. Because he twice said, they are exuding with confidence, they are bursting with confidence. Now, this is bad way to say confidence. Anyway, I take it as a compliment,
Sir,
yeah.
Sir, what is the growth in terms of readership percentage during last 5 years, and which is the next competitor which is catching up in first?
Sir, we are very lucky to have our best competitor is the Dainik Bhaskar. And we have, as all good families should have, the story of Mahabharata, Pandavas and Kauravas. We have our Kauravas sitting in Madhya Pradesh, that's why we have to buy Nai Duniya. We could not publish Jagaran from Madhya Pradesh. So Bhaskar has also to find some Pandavas or Kauravas in UP. They are not allowed to come to our heartland. So like two gundas distributing territory. This is your territory, this is my territory. Today, Bhaskar does not come to our region and we do not go to Bhaskar region. So we are both threat to each other, we are complementing each other. It's an unwritten law. You don't transgress my locality, I do not transgress your locality. They did not take kindly when we took Nai Duniya because we were entering their territory. We said we are not starting Jagaran. But our going there has dented. So they also must be looking for somebody whom they can ride on.
Is there any written agreement of this kind?
No, sir. It is an agreement between two thieves.
Informal agreement.
We are maternal cousins, we call it chor chor mausere bhai. So we are maternal.
Mausi ke ladke.
I have one question.
Please.
For the newspaper which has both print and digital media, what is the proportion of revenue earns from print and digital media for now and for after 20 years?
Yeah, at the moment, digital media, we are now getting good responses only from the online sales sites. We are targeting them and them alone. My son-in-law happens to work for Amazon and he gives me a lot of insight of what Amazon is doing so amazingly well. So anyway, generally thing which you see, generally.com is the brainwave, comes from here, goes to my son-in-law, intern, son-in-law gets promoted from India to now Asia Pacific. So he takes all the credit as well as cash, but I take the credit of having told him what to do. So the idea is whenever, if ever the online sales will increase, automatically we get benefited because we are in league with Yahoo. You must have mentioned that Yahoo has a Hindi newspaper, you want to read it from Yahoo, you go there. And because we did with Yahoo, we lost on Google. At that time Yahoo was more popular about 15 years back. Google is a recent origin, so we missed out on that. But our digital growth is dependent on online sales. Is online business growth, which is growing amongst youngsters of your age, you are buying online. So there, wherever there is an online, we are present there as a free facilitator. Another thing, I use the word how we convert threats into opportunities. Like advertisements flow from what? Leadership. Leadership flows from what? Information. Information is regarding what? The readers want to know which program is coming on TV. There's so much of clutter. So we go to TV guys, they say, look, you want to publish about your program, you will have more viewership. So we are in league with them. We publish about this program you watch today in so and so serial coming, Ganeshji coming, Shivaji coming, all those advertisements we get. So because of TV, our advertisement revenues about the TV stage channels has increased many folds. So this is how we leverage. And today the ratio is 90% hard copy, 10%, but gradually it is increasing. And this is not declining. You know, it is percentage wise 90%, but volume wise we are growing every year by double digit. Against the natural trend of 4%, our growth in leadership has been double digits for last 10 years or so. It's maintaining, and in terms of revenue per se, advertisement, it is growing at 15% or above. We are better than our peers. English papers now try to follow what Jagaran board does. At one time we were copycats. We were following what Times of India was doing, we were trying to do. Now they want to know what's so wrong about them, why are they growing. And as I said, even today we have some MBAs. I am like my nephew whom you met, my sister's son. So we always make fun of them. Now you tell, आप बताइए क्या करना है. बोला आपको मानोगे तो है नहीं. हमने फिर भी बताइए तो अभी हम लोगों ने 8-10 लोगों को रखा है. उनसे हम लोग अपना मन बहलाते हैं. Because they provide us the comedy. I'm sorry, sir. You tell me when I'm going off track.
You are sitting in a management school.
Oh, they provide us the lead. This is what I have to say. No, the best part is, in case you are serious about anybody learning to know, come to the media, first try and understand how to increase leadership. That is number one. And with leadership should follow local advertisement, classified. That is the core. And matrimonials and classifieds and the small shopkeeper. And again, one thing which may be of interest for you to understand is, we take care of the local distributors. Whenever they go to their head office for marketing, sales, marketing conference, we pump them up and say, look, आपको जाके ये कहना है, उत्तर प्रदेश की इतनी आबादी है, आपके एडवर्टाइजमेंट बजट में आप उतना माल यहाँ बेच पाते हो, इतनी आबादी छूटी हुई है, आपको वहाँ फोकस करना चाहिए. आप उनसे कह रहे हो टारगेट बढ़ाओ, सेल बढ़ाओ, तो एडवर्टाइजमेंट भी तो करो. बोला कहाँ करें एडवर्टाइजमेंट? बोले जागरण. They are our best marketers. And in turn, what we do, we support them editorially. We tell them whatever problems you have to tell us. Like any customer complaint comes, their company doesn't listen, we follow it editorially with the company. So Eureka firm knows us very well, because whenever they make a sale and the customer is complaining, we write on behalf of newspaper. We have been told this, you do this, otherwise we know where to go. Consumer forum. See, this thing has worked. Because those guys are not very well organized, but they are distributors all right. And they are area distributors, and they know Jagaran, and they have an affinity with Jagaran. So all newspapers can do that. Any newspaper can do that, because those are the guys, ultimately the marketing guy sitting in Goa conference does not know exactly what is happening in UP. So he is guided by this person. He says, okay, if he is saying he is accepting target of 5 crores, and he wants advertisement in what paper you said, he said Jagaran. What Jagaran? Note down. Okay, please. No problem. So we are supported by them. So he has seen the watch twice. If he sees third time, I will say, okay, back up. So, please see, sir.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, we'd like to conclude the session. I would like to especially thank Professor Chakravarti for mentioning the focus of our institute on developing, disseminating and application of knowledge and creating the software to or the culture to support that. I would like to especially thank Mr. S.M. Sharma for supporting us for developing this case study, and also for his very entertaining session. Though he doesn't want to be called a professor, but it is one of the most enlightening sessions that I have ever attended. Thank you, sir, for that.
I wish my wife would have been here.
It is more like the Panchatantra way actually that it went. And I would like to thank Professor Bhushiva Dasgupta for his excellent exposition of the case, where he mentioned about different facets, what we have looked at in a case from different angles, and not only from a news or editorial point of view, but actually the business at the heart of the media industry. I would like to thank Professor Shubhranshu Mukherjee for being a part of the audience and interacting and throwing in very pertinent questions about development, which is often neglected by the overall media per se. I would like to thank the audience, our esteemed faculty members and our guests from the media industry for their participation in this program. And I sincerely hope that the case study would be of benefit to anybody who is wanting to learn about the business of media. So thank you very much. We'll now conclude the session, and I would like to invite you for a working lunch which we have organized in this floor only. So I'd like to invite you for lunch. So we would like to thank every one of you for attending this session, and we would like to close the session now. Thank you.